Okay, hello. So we have this page here based on the Yin Yang theory, which is, of course, the two forces of nature, the black and the white, the black being the yin, the feminine, the night, to rest and store, etc. Yang being positive, being light, being outside the daytime, expending energy, etc., etc. And how do these two forces work within the cycles of our body and also the systems of our body? Well, we have this figure of a person's arm, and you can see we have the clavicle bones here, we have the spine and the arm bone, and of course there are the muscles like the deltoid, the bicep and the tricep, and of course the chest and the obliques, etc. And these are two of the main things of the body, two very big parts. If you took away your bones and your muscles, you wouldn't be left with much. You'd be left with your skin, your organs, your nerves, etc. So anyway, in this context, the two things we're talking about, the muscular system here, which is very yang, in a way. It's actually a bit of both, because you can think of your muscles kind of like, if you eat meat, it's this just fibrous thing. In Chinese medicine, they relate it to metal, which is kind of, it's similar to water as well. It's next to water or near water. So it's kind of like the physical element, but I don't know, it feels a bit like, watery, like a thing of water. Funny enough though, I guess fat's kind of the opposite. I mean, muscle's the opposite to fat, which is also the bags of water, or however you want to, oilish stuff, however you want to look at it. We have again here our nervous system. An interesting thing to look at is that the arms nerves come kind of out of here, the neck. If this is true, I don't completely know. And the legs, they kind of they actually go around the back. This is two-dimensional image, so you can't really see it, but this is more around your butt. It comes here, and it doesn't perfectly come out of the root of the body. As we see this region, this kind of triangle of flesh, the genital region is more the root of the body, while here is the hips of the body, with the legs come out. Of course, this is all important. We'll talk about it later. And then we have finally our skeletal system. It's very good. So the skeletal system and the nervous system are both fairly yin. You could say the skeletal system is more yang than the nervous system, but I don't really want to get into these debates or whatever right now. So you can think these are the more why are they yin in this context? It's because during the night time, we see this is a tree, this is its little head, this is its stem and the roots of the tree. During the day, the energy of the tree goes outwards towards the leaves and the flowers, etc. And during the night it goes inwards. Energy being moisture and resinous oils and such. If you notice, it's during like summer when it's kind of hot, you can smell the resins of a plant. Usually they're much more active. During winter when it's cold, they're not quite as active. Usually, of course, there are some plants that like to change things up, but the main idea is that during the summer, the heat, or the daytime, the heat pulls the moisture out of something. It forms an aura around it. Aura being, depending, there's different kinds of auras. You could have an aura of air, an aura of moisture, an aura of electromagnetic elements, etc. And during the night, things go inwards. So we have this again. During the day, your energy, your nutrients, your liquids, etc., more go into the muscles and the flesh of the body, the flesh kind of being more the skin and the fat, what's like, yeah, around that area. At least traditionally they called that the flesh area, like I believe in Chinese kind of theory, because then you have muscle, flesh, muscles, bones, etc. So it more goes outwards, towards the meatier parts of your body, and inwards during the night, or if you're doing yin activities and you're reading, it goes inwards to the bones, to the nervous system, more to the organs as well. You'll notice that if you do things like quiet, reading, focusing on something, or if you write, it's a little bit more active, so it kind of goes out a bit more, but I'm more, internal. Maybe you're sitting there watching a movie that's very, dial or heavy or whatever. The focus of your body pulls in. But if you're outside, out in the world, if you're out working, if you're doing something like construction, for example, you're sitting around like a bonfire or something, I don't know, or like at a party, your energy goes outwards. You'll feel you kind of puff up with blood and pressure and such. It's like if you exercise a muscle, the muscle gets full of blood, it goes outside. So we can see there is this cycle, circle, for example, where it goes kind of underground, and then it goes above ground, or it goes internal and it goes external, internal, external, and it's just continuously, our energies and our blood and all the good stuff in our body. This happens to that. So this is kind of how you develop. This is how you can do specific meditations. For example, if you want to do a more yin-centered meditation, you'll close the mouth, sometimes close the teeth, and put the tongue on the roof of the mouth. That is a yin mouth position. It sends the energy to the central channel, the governor and conception vessels, which is basically just the front middle part of the body, kind of around it. Imagine if you put a wheel, you kind of like put your leg inside of a bike tire, and you put that on top of your head and on your butt and it was around you. Yeah, that's kind of the main cycle. So that's what that tongue position does. And then you would focus in the spinal area, in the organs more so. Of course, you can choose where you want to do it, if it's in the spine or in the organs, and you would heal these or tonify them. Tonify being focusing in a specific point or organ, or wherever, to kind of enhance it, to get it stronger and better, get more focus there. Oppositely, to do a yang meditation, standing, sometimes you would stand to do this. It can be better because it gets in your legs, the blood and the energy. But you will focus more outside in the flesh and the muscles. You can almost combine this with exercise. You exercise and you usually use lighter weight. Funny enough, I think lighter weight activates more of the yang part of the body, more of the external parts. While I notice that heavier weights activate the structure of the body, the nervous system, the internal parts. Similarly, isometrics, which means exercises where you don't move, you're just going to stand and let things flow. They're more internal structure, more tendon based, while rhythmic, like bicep curls, push-ups, squats, these are rhythmic exercises. They more activate the external yang muscular parts, of course. So that kind of gives you the idea of the two systems of the body and kind of how to follow the nature of the body. For example, if you're too internal when it's daytime, this can kind of give you problems. You may get a little bit sick. You may be wondering, oh, why do I don't feel so good? Why do I, feel a little opposite? You can get like chi deviation, or energy deviation, which is kind of like when your energy wants to go one way, but you're forcing it another. For example, so if you do suffer this, sometimes if it's daytime, go outside, get some sun, focus, open up, expand your body a little bit, focus your energy a little bit out on the more muscles. Maybe walk around, move yourself a little bit. Same if it's nighttime. If it's nighttime, I don't recommend you do too much heavy exercise or too much external stuff. Of course, if you're kind of warmed up sufficiently from the day, it's not quite as bad. Or if you do work a night shift or whatever, you're kind of used to it, so it's fine most of the time. But it's just if you have trouble sleeping, for example, it's a good idea you don't use any stimulants, any caffeine or tobacco, or no excessively spicy foods at night, no excessive exercises or anything. You kind of just you can still do things, just kind of turn it back a little. Do more yin things. You drink more waters, more relaxation, take a bath or whatever, etc., etc. So yeah, I guess to wrap it up, the internal centers, like this is the heart center, this is the lower energy center, and you've got the head center up here. Centers are more the yin points of the body. For example, major acupointing, you've got the Ming Men here, which is point number 4, I believe, of the governor vessel. I don't perception. I get them mixed up. Point number 6 below the navel is here. That's Chi High, Sea of Chi. Point number 8, number 4. These are all more internal, even though they're kind of on the flesh area. Focusing on an acupoint is a very yin thing to do. So, I don't recommend you focus on an acupoint when maybe the whole body needs energy. For example, traditionally in Chinese cultivation, the first stage is body refinement, body cultivation, which is basically you're building up a lot of muscle, a lot of stronger bones, good flesh, all that stuff. It's doing exercises, it's meditating throughout your whole body, and then eventually, once you've built up a decent body, once you kind of don't have pain in certain points and you don't have problems, you don't really get too hungry, you don't really get too tired, you just have better stamina and all this kind of crap. Then you can start focusing on points because your body isn't needing as much energy for development. You're not like a child or like a teenager or young adult. These people need more energy for their body to develop, unless they have a stunted development, or they don't, they kind of block their development by various means. Usually these people need more rest, more energy, etc., etc., while an older person will be able to cultivate points, meridians, centers, etc., a little bit more easier because they don't need that. They're not being taxed continuously by the first stage, which is body development, body refinement. Depending on what it is, they can then start to do center meditations and such. So yeah, take that for what it is. Play around with it and notice it within your own body. Basically, the internal and external movement from the fleshy stuff to the more internal nerves and skeleton and organs and such. And of course, disclaimer: this is not medical advice. I'm not a medical practitioner. This all runs under the idea of pseudoscience. So take it for what it is. and enjoy, I guess.